Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Castro,
I'm Nancy Edwards.
And I'm Terry Profita.
and we are part of the company called 3D, Digital Design and Drafting. But now we're gonna pass it over to Nancy as she will go with the vision statement, and those things.
Our company, 3D, will provide the highest quality service to our clients by tailoring each project as influenced by challenges by bringing our clients' dreams through the virtual world into reality. Next, our company, 3D, which is Digital Design and Drafting, will revolutionize the digital modeling world by providing mainly consulting services in the Building Information Modeling, which is known as BIM, into our three divisions, which are civil, architecture, and construction applications. Basically, our firm is based in St. Louis, Missouri, and our office will support office spaces, a large printing room, storage for survey equipment, a conference room, and of course typical auxiliary office requirements. Next will be Brian.
Okay, I'm gonna go over some of the services that 3D offers. Our first division that we're gonna go over is civil. For the civil division, we're gonna render three-dimensional modeling showing the site's topography and utilities in the area of interest. This usually is in interest of the site developers that might do an estimate depending on the current condition of the area and the current utilities that need to coordinate in order to either design around it or move the utilities. Also, we're gonna try to show potential payment distress and deterioration with 3D modeling because that's something that's in high demand in state transportation agencies. Let's try to find more accurate ways to determine how the payments are reaching failure. Our next division is architecture. For architecture, we're gonna produce drawings and renderings of existing structures that have never been modeled in three-dimensional, and also show the possibilities of new additions in existing structures if theirs were to take place. Our next division is the construction division services. We're gonna do 3D point cloud scanning to develop plans for existing conditions. This is for complex MEP projects, and we're gonna draft these conditions, and we could also use these plans in order to show how the building could be updated. I'm now gonna pass it over to Terry. He's gonna go over a sample video of applications that we might use. The video's on the screen right now.
Okay, what is playing in the background is a sample of our finished product, which would be a fully coordinated MEP project. There are different levels of design that our clients can purchase, but they're pretty much all the same. All the above ceiling utilities are located. They can either be located using our 3D point cloud services, or we can coordinate from using an engineer's MEP drawings. Someone will buy these and they could be used in the future for facilities management or simply just for installation expedition. We just thought it'd be good for you guys to see a sample of the one of the final products that we'll be producing. I'm gonna turn it back over to Brian here, who's gonna go over our organization.
Okay, as you guys can see in the screen, this is the organizational chart of our company. We are divided in three divisions. I'm gonna go with the first order. First comes the president. And the president will supervise the vice president of civil engineering division, the vice president of architecture division, and vice president of construction applications division. We will go over the responsibility of each of the vice presidents later on in this presentation. The president also oversees the group that takes care that our day-to-day operations run smoothly, which is the accounting group, the human resources, which is very important in the consulting firm, the IT group, which is good for our website, and then the marketing group, which gets our name out there, 3D. Now, the first vice president I'm gonna go over is the vice president of civil. He will oversee 2 lead licensed professional engineers and 2 engineer interns or EIT. and he will also oversee the surveying drafting unit, which doubles as their engineer technicians that double as survey unit and as drafting unit, depending on the season, depending on the job that is required. The next vice president is the vice president of architecture. The vice president of architecture will oversee over 2 licensed architects and 2 entry-level architects in a drafting unit. And the next vice president is the vice president of construction applications. He will oversee 2 construction managers, 2 assistant construction managers, and he will oversee drafting unit. Keep in mind that these construction managers, they're not required to be PEs given the nature of the jobs. The operational plan for 3D was divided by division. There's the operational plan for civil division, operational plan for architecture division, and then there's an operational plan for construction division. For the civil division, we will focus first on the 3-dimensional modeling and surveying at the beginning, and this will provide current site conditions for potential clients. And we will also provide forensic studies of payment failures, and this will increase the trust in our client in us, and this could lead to design projects for 3D, which will bring a larger revenue to our company. Next is the operational plan for the architecture division. We will focus first on 3-dimensional drawings in as-builts and feature modifications, and the quality of the drawings, which will guarantee to the clients, will lead to design work to the firm. Our next operational plan is the operational plan for the construction division. At first, we will focus on existing complex MEP projects, and we'll also show modifications that could be done to existing MEP installations. The quality of these drawings could lead to project management services because our drawings will lead the potential clients to trust us more with our project management skills. With that said, we're going to pass it over to Nancy with the market analysis.
Our market analysis has shown that we are going to be targeting possible clients that will want to see the topography for a potential site, who are interested in current conditions, and then also the potential damage that could occur at these conditions. They are also interested in the causes that have already happened and other ways to prevent them from happening again and to fix. Also, state transportation agencies, we can do work for them, and also by training their employees. Next. Also by providing as-built renderings of current structures. For example, those that have no drawings or have lost their drawings. Those who are interested in needing help visualizing potential modifications to their property, and those who are interested in seeing visualizing property that could be constructed that is already in the works, and of course using renderings to help provide assistance for fundraising campaigns for projects in the works also. Next. Those interested in scanning for complex mechanical, electrical, and plumbing projects, and those who are also interested in updating their MEP systems that need more accurate rendition of their as-builts. Our marketing department will handle most of our marketing needs, but our typical marketing ways will be print media, which will be newspapers, local journals, national trade journals, and of course brochures. Our clients will typically be developers, building owners, even private homeowners, construction companies, partnering with engineering and architecture firms, state agencies, and museums. We will also be able to teach and demonstrate what we do, which will attract clients, and also by attending different trade shows will also help get our name out into the community and to other businesses. And now on to Terry.
Conditions of the construction marketplace have reversed since 2008. This is a good entry point for us into the market, as we can catch the sales on the rise up. The commercial market typically lags slightly behind the residential market, and most of our clients will be commercial or industrial. It's a good time for us to start a business. We picked locally St. Louis, Missouri as our headquarters because of the cost of living advantage it offers over other major metropolitan areas. St. Louis is still a large city and offers many of the benefits, while at the same time costing significantly less than other large metro areas. This means that we can compete up to 10% on the national average without even leaving our homes. St. Louis also offers a great historical restoration market for our architecture department, and has access to MoDOT and IDOT and several other large state transportation agencies. This is a response to a survey from McGraw-Hill on the importance of BIM in construction and engineering moving forward. In the left is the current, where it's required on 60%, and on the right is the future, where it's expected to grow all the way over 50%. We expect this trend to follow. This means that BIM is an emerging market. It's going to become a requirement of construction, and so it's be a good industry to get in on. To follow up on that, the General Service Administration has required since 2006 that all BIM models be constructed for all their projects. BIM model also offers a great sales tool for coordination and has gross turnover value to hospital ownership or building ownership, as they can upload their mechanical specs into the BIM model and then have a virtual display of where an issue might come wrong. It's also valuable in construction for 3D takeoff, and as we stated earlier, we're expecting it to expand to $6.5 billion by 2020. This is a summary of our fixed costs for our department. We plan on having most of our staff as a fixed cost. All the costs of our staff, including insurance, benefits, are rolled into their large portion. To the left, you can see that they will be our largest expense on our company, and to the right, you can see the responsibility by department, with construction and civil, because of their field teams having a little bit more expense to pick up out of the fixed cost pool. This is our break-even analysis for our company. We're going to need about $4.3 million in order to break even in total sales. This is done during a weighted average versus our sales linearly optimized for maximum profit, and because we sell 5 different products that we have to maintain and track. We're going to go through the civil break-even. Individually, to the bottom left, you can see the civil field break-even point, and in the middle of the graph, you can see the civil office break-even point. The reason that they're so different is that we attributed 90% of our fixed costs to the civil office, and the civil field has almost all the fluctuating costs. So they have a much lower threshold to hit. We're planning on using our civil field more as an entry-level or services offered group, so that we can find additional work or be brought in to design additional projects where we make our profit. This is our architectural break-even analysis, pretty straightforward. Architecture has a low overall cost, and they're basically just trying to cover the cost of the office. This is our construction break-even analysis. This is our most expensive division. We can attribute that to the specialized equipment required for our field staff, as well as our office staff is not highly specialized, where we have technical engineers in our civil department and our architecture department. We're mostly competing against draftsmen, so we have to perform large volume to cover the same amount of cost. As I mentioned earlier, we did a linear optimization model to figure out how much of each product we should target selling. What's interesting about this is at the top you can see that we split our resources up and their usage at our break-even point. You can see that we have some room to grow with our technical staff, architecture engineers and architectural interns, and this is a good sign, because then we can hire the less expensive draftsmen and EITs are trucks, which are easily expandable as we grow our office. Below is an example of the linear optimization we used with total percentages of man days and total resource value. We also ran an optimization at 100% to determine that we can max out at $5.1 million worth of sales before we have to expand. This is a good start point for us, and there's plenty of room for growth and profit up to 100% linear optimization. This is our cash flow forecast. We're not expecting to sell anything for the first quarter in operation, and expect a tremendous growth in sales once we start landing projects. Then we plan on maintaining about 10% growth for a year or two, and then slowly petering off to somewhere around 7 or 8, hopefully. This graph shows that we break even, or we will start generating profit in about a year, or almost 2 years, and then we should be coming up to debt-free in about 5. Since we will be carrying a debt, there's a huge burden, and we calculated the interest on this to be about $5.5 million, or $550,000. The cost of this is the minimum cost that we would pay for interest, and assuming that all of our profit generated will go towards paying down our interest. This will probably not be the case, and we could see an interest cost well in excess of this amount here. So as an alternate, we would like to present a venture capital model in which the investors supply $1.75 million up front. We will repay this amount as soon as we turn a profit in 2 years, and we will pay it back at 50% of the profits received. The idea here is that if we take 50%, we can grow the business more and give you 50% so you get your money back. Now, the reason that that's important is because after we've repaid our initial loan, or our initial investment of $1.75 million, we're willing to offer 5% of the total profit for the next 5 years. So what that means is that there's a potential here that you can see the amount of money that we have, that we should have in reserves in about 5 or 6, 7, 8 years. That money will be available to start up another office and possibly double or triple your investment. We also did a comparison of your investment versus a typical CD with a large deposit that's over $1 million. The best one we could find online was 1.75%, and as you can see here, our investment plan with the minimums will outperform by almost $200K without starting up another office. So we're hoping it's a good investment venue, and you hope to take this option. We've assessed a lot of the risks to our company. The main one is that the market declines around us. We've hedged our bets against that by offering a variety of products with our 3 different divisions, depending on how the market goes. If the government work picks up, or if the private market dies out, we should be hedged against them, as there are different types of work going on because we have 3 divisions. So our sales portfolio is diverse, so that we don't get stuck with just a declining market that sinks our company. Additionally, a lot of our staff can perform similar jobs, such as the 3D modeling, and get transferred between departments to help pick up a department that is overloaded, or possibly hide from a department that is underfunded. Our major risk that we're looking at that will most likely happen is that we might not hit our sales figures, and one of the ways we can mitigate this risk is by hiring our staff slowly at the start as our sales pick up, and we can maintain 1 or 2 personnel per division in an attempt to keep our costs down until we ramp up our sales, and we can continue to grow that as we expand. The next big risk is going to be the increased transportation. We picked St. Louis because of its cheap standard of living, but at the same time, we want to be a national company, so there's going to be a lot of transportation costs, flights, to perform our design work and our 3D scanning. In order to keep these costs down, we're doing our best to drive in the Midwest and fly only when we have to. But if the cost of transportation escalates, we will look at opening up offices on the East or West Coast, or possibly just working restricting ourselves to working in the St. Louis area. Finally, our last factor here is that St. Louis might hit an economic boom, and then our 10% advantage would disappear over the national average. We could compensate for that by opening up smaller regional offices and cutting back on our major office overhead. I'm now going to turn it over to Nancy, who has some measurements of success of our company to discuss.
Our first goal is to have sales by the third quarter of our first year. Again, by doing this, we are just playing it safe and being conservative. Then our next major goal is financially is to break even by the 2-year mark, and then to increase staff around year 3, and then it would be great to be able to do pro bono work because we are able to, and not just for tax purposes. And then next, our way long-term plans is to be completely debt-free in the 5 to 6 years, as we talked about, or sooner if possible. As mentioned also before, we'd like to grow and expand our office locations as needed, but targeting the coasts and then major metropolitan areas. Again, we would be able to form partnerships with other companies and firms, and then eventually, possibly, buy out our competitors. Thank you very much